I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. An oversight. The only purpose of this meeting is to discuss the Secretary of State's Directive 2006-85, which was received yesterday, November the 4th at 4:48 p.m. According to the directive stated below, the Board must formally adopt and have implemented a security plan relating to scanning absentee voter ballots before November the 7th, 2006. Before I turn it over to the director to discuss this, I think that I speak on behalf of the entire board that we have instituted security procedures right along for this election, and I'll ask the director to comment as to any additional security procedures that we might need.
We have in your packets the security plan that was sent to the Secretary of State's office. Some of it, of course, was changed due to decisions that were made subsequent to the plan being sent to the Secretary of State's office. We received also from the public monitor amendments to those changes, which I have attached that you have copies of also. So we request that those changes be approved according to Directive 2006-85, plus also with the changes or the order that was made by Judge Gall on Friday. As part of the adoption of the security plan, also according to the directive, is the assignment or the oath given to the special election judges that will be handling and processing the optical scan ballots.
Mr. Chairman, do you...
that list is attached. So the list of special election judges is attached.
To what?
To your packet.
Where?
Temporary.
Okay, workers. Taking it from the top, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Director, we have the absentee ballot processing and handling protocol for the November 7th election with suggested additions made by the public monitor. Are these suggested additions satisfactory?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the plan be adopted.
Okay, and second, that the plan be adopted is, before I call for a vote, is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. We have some recommended plans that I just received and have not had an opportunity to go over from the Kansas Monitor. You care to comment on these?
I'll go through, in fact, and I believe what is being proposed is the several more.
Candace, is Ms. Hoke here?
Yes, I am.
Candace, you said that you didn't have an electronic copy of the director's memo until 5 minutes ago. Didn't you have a hard copy some time ago?
Not the one that Mr. Moog had for today. It was substantially different from the one from today. We submitted 3 weeks ago modifications, and that's what I used today to draw up this. It was.
I handed you a hard copy earlier this morning.
No, he asked an electronic copy.
No. You say on here that you only received it 5 minutes ago.
No, that was the electronic copy that I only received. It doesn't say it that way? That I only received
You say, I worked fast. I did not have an electronic copy of the director's memo until 5 minutes ago.
That's right.
I question that because I want to make sure you get every bit of information that you want. I was told that you had a hard copy of this memo prior to 5 minutes ago.
I had a hard copy when I was in the building at approximately 1 something, and I went to my office with it to work on it. But I did
Candace,
not get an electronic
I
copy.
have a real problem. There's a big difference when you tell me you get something just 5 minutes before, and when now you're telling me that you really had a hard copy 3 hours before.
But, Mr. Chairman, I said quite clearly at the top that the reason that this is an addendum, all I was trying to say is that I could not take the director's proposal and show you where this material could go. All I could do was write a new document and add it and send it to you. I didn't have the time, once I received the electronic document, to then take what I had written and try to put it into his electronic document. That was all I was trying to say. It was not a misstatement that I did not receive. I did receive a hard copy. I never
Okay,
intended
you
for
did receive a hard copy because I received this from you just less than 5 minutes.
That's what I was writing from. Exactly. But what I'm saying is that I received the hard copy, but that meant that I had to type in material from his document to then respond to it, which is why I was having to work very quickly. And then once his electronic document came, I had to get over here. That's all I'm saying, is that I worked as fast as I could to provide the suggestions to you.
Mr. Director, have you had an opportunity to go over these?
I did, yeah.
Is there any problem with them?
No, I did.
Can we incorporate them into the
Yes.
security plan?
Thank you.
Okay, but Candace, I want to caution you, okay?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I get memos from you or electronic mail from you at 10:30 at night, at 1 p.m., a.m. in the
I
morning,
refrained recently.
12:52 a.m. And if you expect an instantaneous response, you're not going to get it out of this chair.
I understand, and all I was asked by other board members, could I respond since this was a new document today? I came back in the building just to pick it up, and I had to go to my office to work on it. It was not my choice to have 2 hours to work on it, so I did the best I could for you.
Not my choice to have 5 minutes to go.
I agree, I agree.
There's no harm in that.
Mr. Director, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Mr. Lambert? All those in favor of adopting the security plan as amended, I assume, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anything else, Mr. Lambert?
The other piece, Mr. Chairman,
I'll be taking that tomorrow.
the other piece, Mr. Chairman, is the court order. My question, Mr. Lambert, on page 2, Mr. Lambert indicates that in addition to also orders, the County Board of Elections shall appoint 2 teams of observers, each consisting of 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, to observe the processing and optical scanning of all absentee ballots from the inception to the end. Now, the order is clear. Do we follow the Secretary of State's directive vis-a-vis observers? That's all I want to believe in. Okay, there's some, I apologize. There's some directive.
I think it's 2006-70. Let's see, three.
He's talking about the regular observers.
Oh, no, it's 2006-08.
It says advisory, but it's not a directive.
Is it advisor or?
Advisor.
Okay, forget it.
Okay.
Advisory.
Do we need to discuss anything about placing these observers on the payroll at this point?
Well, if it's not, if that would be the procedure, I'd be prepared to offer a motion in that regard, I think.
Paying them the $15 an hour? I think so. It's been moved and seconded that we pay the observers as ordered by the board regarding the processing of the absentee ballots. Total not to exceed $15 per hour until the absentees are
I turned in a slip to speak, please. I turned in a slip to speak. Excuse me.
We're adjourned now, sorry.
Well,
No.
the slip was already with you.
Pardon?
The paper was already with you. You adjourned without
But you
looking
said
at it.
it had to do with the absentee.
I meant generally the handling of the absentee ballots, and so that the scanning of the absentee.
The security?
Yes.
It's up to the board. Do you want to?
Yes.
We are adjourned. You want to reconvene?
Well, I thought that you wouldn't adjourn as long as my paper was up there.
Adele will give you 5.
Great. Thank you.
5 minutes.
Thank you very much.
You will address as to the security procedures on the absentee.
Yes, I will. I just, a few things. Number one, just as, my name is Adele Eisner, I live in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Regarding the security procedures, I haven't seen the document that was submitted by the Public Monitor, and this reminds me, it's very mindful of the meeting where the Public Monitor's interim audit was approved, and I thought that the public would be able to see that before it became final, which is not true. It was not widely dispersed before it became final. One had to be part of the Public Monitor's email list, and that's not called public. So I really want the public to be able to see what you just approved today. And I'm kind of appalled that the public didn't get a chance to speak to it before you approved it. Number two, pardon me, did you want to?
Before we move, so I know that there were some concerns from the county prosecutors, at least on Friday, as to the document dealing with security policy.
And I do have input about security. I found the first security policy with the amendments so still confusing that I didn't really know where to start, but I did submit a few suggestions. However, I don't know if they came in via the Public Monitor, and this has not been a public process, and the public is very concerned about security. I have been standing here for 2 years concerned about security of electronic voting machines, including optical scanners. And I object. I believe the public should have a chance to see what that document is that you approved before you approve it. Number two, because there are experts in the public about computers. Number two, regarding the observers, there are people who are deemed observers who used to be witnesses and challengers, and they are now called observers. I find that the Secretary of State's directive or advisory, and I don't have the sheet turned over, is very limiting. I am an observer with the Green Party, and I am appalled also that the independent parties have not been included when there are independent parties on the ticket. I am an observer. It used to be witnesses and challengers, so it's very confusing. Observers do not get paid under election law. Observers are people who go in, can be in a specific precinct or assigned to the Board of Elections, who've gone through this whole process, are allowed to watch the process of counting, etc. And I am an observer with the Green Party, and I'm appalled, not just for me, but that the independent parties have not been included. And I would implore you to add on to that directive and also bring in observers from the recognized independent parties who are on the ticket.
Do you have anything else, Del?
Yes, I do, Mr. Bennett.
Please continue.
I shall. I know. Are you even listening to me, or are you watching your watch?
Yeah, we'll be happy to take anything up in our regular board meeting. Let me just address your last concern.
Well,
Independent candidates, you would have to get a change in the statute to qualify to have observers there. Independent parties are not recognized by the state because they haven't met the threshold on receiving the number of votes necessary in a gubernatorial election to achieve minor party status.
and so you're telling me that that prevents citizens who are concerned about the independent party, Mr. Fortakis, etc., they're concerned about that election, that means that they are prevented from watching the process.
The Ohio Revised Code does not have a provision to have independent observers.
doesn't eliminate them. Independent parties can recognize independent parties with candidates on the ballot. I'm not talking about a write-in here or there.
Argue with you.
I am not going to argue with you either, and you're watching your watch. So part of what you do is you talk through my 5 minutes, and I guess I'll just keep on talking. Unless Mr. Lambert has an opinion on that.
I would just say, that the judge's order
Go ahead.
specifically orders us to have 2 teams of observers, each consisting of 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. So we really have no choice. This is a court order. We're following the judge's order.
Can the independent parties come in and observe without being paid? Because observers, there's a mixing of terms here as well. There are observers during the election process, and now you're calling these folks observers. The other observers do not get paid. They are people who are interested in democracy, as am I, and interested in the security of this system, as am I. And there are legions of us who are going to be out there termed as observers. So this is very confusing. We're not being paid. Mr. Lambert, what do you think about allowing, in addition, I'm not saying prevent those 2 groups from coming in, but can't representatives of the independent parties, can't 2 representatives from independent parties who are on file at this Board of Elections as election observers come in and watch that scanning process?
Adele, I want to correct something. You said you filed as a Green Party?
As a 5-state candidate.
Okay, I wanted to correct that because there is no provision in the law for that either.
There are 5 statewide candidates who have made a consortium who do have observers listed at this Board of Elections. Last, I'm really concerned about the public pretest that I saw on Friday. The only way I knew about it, Mr. Cosom, is because I asked one of my horrible questions in September and got an answer in October saying that temporarily it's been scheduled for November 3rd at 4 o'clock. Mr. Bennett said on August 7th, when I stood here asking for public notice, for public tests, that you can't call anything public unless the public knows about it. And I stood here on August 7th asking for that. And I said, don't put it in the legal classifieds or in the pub section of the classifieds. Put it on your website for those of us who are interested that this election is fair and clean and that the debug equipment actually works and there's no hanky-panky. Now, there was no notice.
For not putting it up on the website when we got it last night at 5 p.m. and we're meeting here today.
I'm sorry?
It should have been on the website.
No, I'm talking about the public pretest of the machine.
You're talking about the LNA test?
I'm talking about whatever, yes, I guess you're calling it an LNA test. It's not an LNA test according to me. And according to Mr. Washburn, who's the national expert on it. However, I came for a meeting. Kim Bartlett has been phenomenal. She was wonderful. She arranged a meeting, but I arranged it just in case that public pretest was going to be happening. And I invited Ms. Lovegren to come with me, and so that we can be here at 4. No, I am not. Security.
You take that up tomorrow morning.
Security means that it needs
needs
all of us watching to keep all of us honest. And I watched a public pretest of the scanners, and the scanner pretest was not done with the ballots that were printed by the printer. They were printed on printers here with ballot on demand. They were not even done with the actual ballots. That is not a public pretest.
Tell me where we are on this. We are complete with that item. We now stand adjourned.
It's hardly secure. Hardly secure.
Adele Eisen. I'm not usually that.
How do you spell your name?